Hello, bonjour. Good afternoon, good morning. Just waiting to see. Headphones aren't working. No, they are. Are they? Who knows? I can't hear me. Can you hear me? I can't hear me. Um, how are you? I am just waiting for the wonderful Amy to jump on with me. Thank you so much for joining. If you're joining, it's absolutely terrible that my last live video was with another guest expert, which was over a month ago. Fantastic. Thank you so much. Here she is. Yep, there we go. Just now. Beautiful.
There
Hi,
we go.
Amy.
Hi, how are you?
I am fantastic. I just messaged Amy saying that I had an abundance of energy today, which I mean it's not a bad thing, but poor poor Dr. Amy, she's literally just gotten to her desk, I would presume, and I'm just there like going 100 miles an hour because it's my 2 p.m. and I've had a lot happening today. And yeah, it's just the start of your day, is it today? So far.
Yeah, it's okay. We need sorry, that's my giant dog settling in behind me. I don't know if you hear her back there.
No, can't hear anything or see
She,
anything for that matter.
yeah, she likes to sit on the floor in the office.
Oh, bless. Bless. I'm just trying to get up some notes, but it's not coming up. Okay, I think we are live. I think we're live. So, thank you so much for joining us. If you are here, please let us know you're here. Just say hi. It'll be nice to know if anyone's in the group. I am also looking at my computer, just making sure that we are live. Yeah. So yeah, if you're here live, say hi. If you're watching on replay, let us know that you have popped by to watch. I had a couple of girls, ladies, women who were keen on coming by, so that's exciting. Hopefully they'll be able to catch the replay if they don't catch the live. So I mean, let's take a nice deep dive into it. First of all, I would love to let you introduce yourself. You are the expert. You're also a health coach. You're a pharmacist. Oh my goodness, you've got so many titles. You are absolutely incredible. So I would love to hear who you are, what you do, and how you got to doing what you do. And I'll stop
Well,
talking for a while.
first of all, I want to say thank you, Bianca, for inviting me to join your channel. I'm excited to be here this morning, and honestly, it's nice. You have a great energy, and it's wonderful to work with you today. I'm excited about that, and I'm excited to share. I do have a few titles that I've accumulated over the way. I started out in pharmacy school and did the doctor of pharmacy program, and then after that I decided to do a residency program, and I practiced as a pharmacist for quite some time. I still practice as a pharmacist, but I got very frustrated with our current model of healthcare that we have, especially here in the US. I know you guys have your own struggles with your system over there as well, but you know, it's kind of funny. In one of my courses, I read an article that basically said everybody in England thinks the American health system is the worst, and everybody in America thinks the same, which is kind of funny to me. But you know, everybody agrees that their health system needs fixed, right? So
Mm-hmm.
um, the current system we have, though, is really set up to manage disease states. It's not really set up to help people feel better. It's not set up to make anybody, you know, it doesn't correct anything really. We just manage diseases with drugs. So after experiencing that for a very long time, I got very frustrated and living with my own chronic health conditions and seeing my family and friends suffer. I got tired of it, so I started looking for something better, and that's when I came across functional medicine, which I think has more popularity over there where you're at, but it's still kind of new over here in the US, but it's gaining ground. And functional medicine works on treating the root cause of the problem. And we use supplements, we use plant-based nutrition, we use lifestyle changes to correct the problem so that people get better instead of continuing to get worse or stay the same. So.
Mm-hmm. So would you say that functional medicine is more of getting down to what the issue is, as opposed to just treating the symptoms, which is what like a paracetamol or like off the shelf medication and stuff like that,
Yes.
and a lot of well, behind the desk, that stuff that you need the pharmacist to issue you. So would you say that's the difference between regular medicine and functional medicine?
Yes, I would say that's a big difference. The other thing though is unfortunately there are some functional medicine providers out there that are they're telling the story of it's a us versus them kind of a thing, where it's traditional versus alternative medicine, and that that idea kind of scares me because functional medicine is not appropriate for everything. If you break your ankle, you still need to go and have your bones set and x-rayed, and you know, functional medicine is not going to fix that. But when it comes to prevention and caring for people with chronic disease, then functional medicine, I think, will beat out traditional medicine in the long run. And I think we need to be coming alongside other practitioners, you know, and other coaches like yourself that are teaching prevention and teaching, you know, how do you take in plants as your medicine, your food? Like, we need to integrate everything together.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, absolutely, absolutely. And this is why I'd love to get you on, because I find it so interesting and just so incredible, the power of plants. Like literally every day I'm just like, the power of plants is so incredible. And I'm like, you know, I can
Yeah.
fix your problems, just change this, add this to your diet, add this to your diet. And I
Mhm.
think it's just absolutely incredible. Beautiful. So, I mean, you mentioned about that you suffered some chronic health conditions. So you've
Mhm.
definitely gone through the wars as well. I mean, you said that that kind of pushed you or led you on to do functional medicine. Is that right?
Yeah, that and my father passed away a couple years ago from the consequences of non-alcoholic fatty liver disease. And it was really quite tragic. I mean, he died at 59 years of age. And it's not an uncommon story. So I mean, that's why I mean you get frustrated seeing people come into the pharmacy day after day and they don't know what to do. Um, you know, research tells us people remember about 25% of what they get from the doctor's visit, and that's just natural. It's not the doctor's fault, it's just human nature. But the doctors don't have enough time to spend with their patients to tell them, to teach them about nutrition, to teach them how to take those medications that they need, to teach them the lifestyle. Like they just don't have time. They're working inside of the system. So
Mm-hmm.
it was very frustrating, you know. But the favorite part of my job in the pharmacy is when people come in and recommendations, whether it's, you know, asking me about supplement, support their health. Are you back? Yeah, you're
Yeah.
back.
Okay. Um, Sorry. Don't know
Yeah,
what
so
happened then. My phone just froze.
that's okay. So what I get really excited about though, like the best part of my day is when people come back in and they say, "Hey, Amy, I tried that thing you suggested and I feel fabulous."
Mm.
And that is what I get up out of bed for, and like that is my thing that I love the most.
Yeah, absolutely. Sorry, if I look over here, it's just because I'm looking at my laptop, making sure that I'm not missing anything. Um, yeah, absolutely. I completely. That's like that's the biggest feeling that you get when you hear someone
Mhm.
say, actually, you know, I implemented what you said, or I listened to what you said, and it has changed my life. And it's just that change that's so
Right.
incredible to have. Um, Beautiful. Okie dokie. So, I mean, let's get into sleep then. So, I mean, you do cover a wide range of topics, and
Mhm.
so sleep is something that I was interested in bringing you in for. So, I mean, what is sleep? Like, what? Let's start with the fundamentals. What is it?
Right. So I would start with a myth. I think a lot of people think that when we fall asleep that we're just completely inactive, but actually it's really quite the opposite. Our
Hmm.
bodies are really very active while we sleep. That's when your body repairs and restores your immune system. You can actually burn more calories sleeping than you can sitting on the couch, you know, watching TV doing nothing because your body is actively repairing itself. It's repairing and building your muscle and bones, and it's very important to your mood, and it's the time of night when your brain is going through and processing all the memories and events from the day. So it helps with your memory and your focus the next day. So your body's very, very active during sleep. It's a time of, I guess I would say, restoration and building.
Yeah.
And when you don't get enough sleep, it affects everything else in your life. It affects your ability to focus. It affects your energy. It affects your metabolism. It affects your hormone levels. It affects everything. So I think in our modern society, we've gotten so used to neglecting sleep that we just accept that that's how our lives are supposed to be. Like we're supposed to always run around being tired, but that's really not normal. It's not how you're supposed to be living.
Yeah, yeah, I completely agree. Literally, with like you said, with today's society, with the way that we work, we live in a 24-hour world,
Mhm.
and everyone is expected to do more in less time. But
Yes.
I mean, we haven't evolved yet to be able to thrive off of 3 hours sleep. So if you're
Right.
corporate and this is you, you need to wake up. Or stay asleep, should I say, and get more sleep. Yeah. So I mean, I think I know, but what is the recommended daily like intake of sleep? That's the wrong word.
So there's been a lot of research trying to figure out the magic number of sleep. But there's such a diversity in people and everybody needs different things. So on average, it's 8 to 10 hours for an adult.
Yeah.
Teenagers or, kids who are going through growth spurts, they need more time. There is a very, very small percent of the population that can function on like 5 hours of sleep and feel refreshed. But most of us, it's 8 to 10 hours a night.
So when you say there's a small percentage of the population that can feel refreshed on 5 hours,
Mhm.
does that differ to what they feel versus what's actually going on internally? Like physiologically, are
Mhm.
they still operating on burnout, even though they feel refreshed? Because I can tell you, I got 5 hours sleep last night, and I'm going to put my hands up and openly, honestly say, I got 5 hours worth of sleep last night, and it was terrible because I know the importance of sleep, and I had big things to do, and I just got carried away with things and tasks last night. But when I
Right.
woke up, I felt refreshed, and I felt
And some
great.
and sometimes you can do that in the short term if
Mm-hmm.
you have healthy habits, if you have a regular healthy sleep schedule, if you have a regular diet, regular exercise, if you're feeling well. So that's another thing that functional medicine focuses on. Our bodies have amazing capacities for healing, detoxification, and just metabolism and all the things that we can do internally when you start to look at things. But again, part of our modern day society, we overwhelm those systems. We overwhelm ourselves with toxins. We wear down our body's reserves. We wear down our organ reserves, and we deplete everything. And then when you have a night where you have less sleep, it's just going to be worse. So
Yeah.
your reserves, your ability to function after 1 or 2 nights of less sleep is dependent on your overall health.
Mm-hmm.
if that makes sense. So, but yeah, and when I say small percent, I mean, I'm talking like probably less than like 5% of the population who can regularly function like that with shorter amounts of sleep because
Yeah,
that's how their body is wired. But most of us need, a good solid 8 to 10 hours.
yeah, no, absolutely. And yeah, like I said, like I felt refreshed after 5 hours, but
Yeah.
physiologically, there's going to be a significant impact on your health. Um, there was a study, I think I read it it's literally happens to be right in front of me, wasn't intentionally. Study in my Bible, which I basically use, How Not to Die. And they said that your risk of stroke increases when you get less than 7 hours and
Mm-hmm.
when you get more than 9 hours. So, either ends of the spectrum, it's either too much or not enough. But there is quite a large window in between, 7 to 9 or 7 to 10 hours. And being able to go, okay, I feel refreshed, but that's not healthy. I feel like there's a massive divide there. And it's for some people, because they feel good in the time, they're like, oh, great,
Mm-hmm.
yeah, I can thrive off of 5 hours. But that's only going to drive you down a shorter path, essentially.
Right. Right. Yep, you're absolutely right. And we also know too that if, you're having a difficult time or a lot of extra work or whatever, typically for people who are suffering from insomnia, we say make sure you go to bed at the same time every night. Make sure you get up at the same time every morning. That helps train your body to that regular cycle. But if, life is hectic and you're struggling to get those hours of sleep in, there is research to say that, taking that nap during the day will help replenish it. My husband calls it his sleep bank. And it's a good analogy. So
Yeah,
if you've been running short and you can get a few extra hours or get a couple naps in, then you can help restore that time and that energy back to your body. But yeah, you're right. Lack of sleep puts you at risk for all kinds of illnesses, heart disease, diabetes, um, weight gain, because you start changing the hormones and the underlying metabolism of your body when you keep going indefinitely.
yeah, yeah, absolutely. So with the napping, then there is a sweet spot, isn't there?
Yeah, so this is my own personal trouble with napping because I like I said, I have struggled with insomnia for many, many years before I finally,
Excuse me.
that's okay, got myself kind of sorted out and dealt with it. They say, 20 minutes, 20, 30 minutes, an hour for a nap. But personally, if I lay down, I know I'm not going to get up in 20 minutes. I'm going to want to sleep for like 3 hours. So I just don't nap.
Yeah.
Um, but yeah.
It's been interesting, and I don't mean to kind of like take this conversation completely out of context or anything, but since I have been plant-based, I actually haven't had a nap in the afternoon.
Mhm.
But before I was plant-based, I would religiously have a nap, and it would be between 20 minutes
Mhm.
and 2 hours.
Mhm.
But since being plant-based, never napped. I mean, if I'm
Yep.
sick or ill, then I have slept through the afternoon. But
Right.
just I felt that I've had sufficient energy since being plant based, which is incredible.
Mhm. Well, and I think one of the advantages of being plant-based or having a larger amount of plant intake is the fiber helps keep your blood sugar stable throughout the day so you don't have the late afternoon like crash in the blood sugar where your body is like sleepy or you feel like you need to like recover.
Yeah.
So I think
So
that
I'm just
helps with
writing
just
notes as we go.
no, you're good with regulating things throughout the day. And a lot of people don't get enough fiber in their diets for good health anyway, for good gut health.
No, no. And I think it was probably proven that the Americans were worse, or the worst for fiber intake. That's definitely up for debate. That's up for arguments. But
It's
yeah,
probably right.
yeah, there's just so many processed foods nowadays, and I don't call them foods. I call them foods. I do that, processed foods, because
Yeah,
because they have no to little nutritional value. They're not providing anything. They're just
right.
keeping your stomach full in terms of
Mhm.
the capacity, and that's it. It's not fueling you in a way that your brain, your heart, your liver, your everything needs.
Right.
Um,
Yeah, just empty calories.
mhm, massively so, massively so. Okie dokie. So, what is sleep? Why do we sleep? Because we need to recuperate.
Mhm.
We need to rebuild. We need to associate memories and stuff. I find that so interesting that the brain
Mhm.
just goes into this like debunking organization mode, and it's like,
Yep.
when you get that like wind of, I'm going to clean the house and I'm going to do it really well now. I don't know if that's just me, but that's exactly what your brain does every night, or every time you go into, is it when you slip into REM that it does that, or is it a different
Yes.
stage?
So you have 6 sleep stages, and the first stage is like light sleep, and then the second stage you get deeper into it, and then stage 4 is the REM sleep,
Mm-hmm.
and the REM sleep is when we experience dreams, and your heart rate is slower, your breathing is slower, and your body is actually paralyzed during
Mm-hmm.
REM sleep. You have no muscle activity. So as you go deeper into sleep, your body becomes, more relaxed, calmer, and then you can stay in REM sleep depending on your health. It could be 20 minutes or 40 minutes of REM sleep, and then your body goes a little bit deeper into sleep, stages 5 and 6, and then you cycle back through the path again. So it takes on average about 4 hours for one complete sleep cycle. So if you think about getting 8 to 9 hours of sleep, then you would get about 2 full cycles
Mm-hmm.
during that time.
Mm-hmm.
Um, and that's kind of why when you sleep, you need those longer blocks of time, because it takes time for your body to go through and do all those processes. But you're absolutely right. When you're not running around doing things, then your brain is free to go in and build those neural connections, to process those memories, to store that information, and to make it permanent in your brain. And your immune system can clean out all the dead cells, not that it doesn't work during the day, but it's free to do more. Your body's not digesting, you're resting overnight, you're not trying to figure out problems, you're not driving, you're not watching TV, so it can do all of the other tasks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
it's so important that we get enough and sufficient and good quality sleep,
yeah.
to be able to go through all of those processes. So, I mean, what's the connection between sleep and weight loss then? Because uh, I've got some information coming out to my audience in the next week, but I'm curious to hear your perspective. It could be a different perspective or information that I don't know. So, yeah, please indulge us about the relationship between weight loss and sleep.
So there are 2 major hormones that we usually talk about, and that's probably what you've been reading about, ghrelin and leptin. When we start talking about like weight loss and hunger and appetite.
Mm-hmm.
So when you are running on, empty, basically, when your body has not had that restorative sleep, your body is going to seek ways to compensate. And the easiest way for your body to do that is to say, feed me more.
Mm-hmm.
And your body is designed to maintain homeostasis, to keep everything the same. It's designed to survive. So your body is going to start seeking out calories to replace, the energy and the fuel reserves it didn't have time to work on while you were resting. So what happens is you have an increase in cravings. You have an increase in the hormone ghrelin, which makes you crave food, especially salty, fatty, sugary foods. Your cravings will go up for sure. And then what happens? You eat. You eat. You want these things, and then you eat these things. What we also know is you have a decrease in the hormone leptin, which is your satiety hormone. It's the hormone that tells your body that it's full and it's satisfied and it has enough nutrition. So when you're running on empty, you have an increase in the hormones that make you feel hungry and a dramatic decrease in the hormones that tell you that you're full. So your body is going to trigger you into this cycle of, craving food, craving sugar to get that energy boost. We know when you take in sugar, sugar really, when you study the effects of sugar on the body, the fact that it's not classified as a drug and we sell it all over the place is a bit alarming. Sugar has the same effects on your body as some illegal drugs will. And you get that release of dopamine and serotonin, and you get those reward hormones that make you just want more and more and more. So you end up in this, vicious cycle. You start eating these things. The other thing that we tend to do when we don't sleep is we take in caffeine or energy
God,
drinks.
I need a cup of coffee right now. I tell you that. It's been a long
Right.
day.
Right. Coffee, tea, energy drinks, right? And that honestly, coffee to a certain extent is good for your health, but beyond that, if it's in excess, then it becomes a detriment to your health, and it just makes the cycle worse, increasing those cravings. And then you stay up all night, so you get less sleep, and then you do it all again the next day, and you get stuck in the path.
Yeah, and then, it's really difficult to get out of that cycle because you're doing it because there was a reason to it. So whether you weren't knowledgeable on the foods that you needed, whether you were run down because you needed more sleep in the first place, maybe you had a poor sleep one night and then you're stuck in the cycle. Perhaps you've got kids, perhaps your mentality is not in the right place to be getting enough sleep. Maybe you've got insomnia. And so there's this trigger that happens, and then we get stuck in this cycle, and it's like a tornado. You literally get plonked in the middle from one poor night's sleep or one decision, and then you're just going round and round and round. And for a lot of my clients as well, they'll be struggling with their weight loss, and they're then telling me, yeah, but I'm tired all the time, and I'm just like, right, okay, so let's look at your sleep. Let's have a look. When do you eat? Do you eat late at night? Because that's then going to affect your sleep. It's like a domino effect. If you're eating late at night, then your blood sugars are going to increase throughout the night. Your digestive system is going to be switched on, which is not necessarily allowing you to be able to sleep because everything's going on inside your body to try and digest that food.
Right.
And it's just this really, really tough cycle to get out of. So yeah, essentially, if you are not getting enough good quality sleep and you're looking at weight loss, you're going to be basically pushing a boulder uphill, and it's going to be difficult and it's going to be hard.
You're sabotaging yourself.
Right, exactly. So definitely tapping into that sleep cycle. And it's not necessarily just for people who are losing weight. Maybe it's for people who want to go plant-based. A lot of people say, oh, I tried to go plant-based, but I felt really tired to start off with. Usually that doesn't actually happen. It's the other way around. But sometimes that can happen, but that's because they've gone plant-based, but they haven't gone whole foods plant-based. And that's where the separation lies. You've got your junk food that's completely animal cruelty free, and then you've got your whole foods plant-based. And it's again consuming those foods that are high in sugar, fat, and salt, as you mentioned, that just gets you in that cycle again. Sorry, I could go on.
No, you're good. I would add to that, people people forget too that, that nighttime period of fasting, when you're digesting, your body shifts blood supply to your digestive system for that process. So if your body is shifting the blood to your digestive system, that's why, you eat a big meal, what happens? You feel sleepy, you feel tired, because the blood supply is going away from what? Your brain. And your brain needs that blood more than any other organ in your body. Your brain and your heart will consume more, need the oxygen, need the healthy blood glucose to operate. So, your body needs that break. And there are things that your body happen that stimulates, like you're talking about the clean out systems that help remove the toxins and things. Those systems are activated after a period of fasting. And the longer you fast, the more those processes start to turn on and kind of clean out all the junk and clean out the dead cells. So, there's your body is designed for both. Your body is designed to fuel during the day, and your body is also designed to take a break from that fueling overnight.
Yeah, absolutely. So, I mean, sleep disruptors then. What are going to be some sleep disruptors? I know that you mentioned caffeine.
Caffeine, yeah.
Sugar.
Yeah, sugar late at night. A lot of times people forget things like chocolate have caffeine in it. I love chocolate, but it does have caffeine in it. Eating late at night, like you mentioned, can make it hard to sleep. Eating, I like spicy foods, but sometimes having a big spicy meal before bed is going to keep you awake. Right? The other things are, I think people forget caffeine can have effects on your body for up to 12 hours. And I think a lot of people don't, people think they drink it in the afternoon and it's gone in a couple hours, but it's really not gone. And also electronics. Unfortunately, we love our devices. I know I love mine. Lights, bright lights can be a disruptor. Loud noises and sounds, again, your environment being uncomfortable or unpleasant for whatever reason. The problem with electronics is all electronics emit blue light, and we know that blue light stimulates the brain. So if you're on your phone, you're stimulating your brain while you're sitting in your bed. And really, your bed should be for sleep and for intimate activity.
I have actually got a post coming out later on this week. And I said, I need your bedroom to be for sleep and sex, and that is it.
Well, yeah, I wasn't sure with your audience. I could say.
Oh, I swear and anything. Yeah,
they're adults, right?
I'm open and honest. Yes.
Yeah, and that is what we tell people, because your body will associate. That's how you train your body to associate your bed with rest. If you're sitting in bed watching TV, then your body learns, I'm in bed, I'm watching TV, my brain is stimulated, this is not rest time. So you're sabotaging yourself, especially if you're having difficulty sleeping. Plus, if you get interested in something or you start clicking through your email, you might think, I'm going to check my email real fast, and then an hour later you're still on your phone. Yeah.
Guilty.
Yeah,
Definitely.
So you really need, your body needs time to unwind, and it needs time to produce the melatonin, that's our sleep hormone, before you go to bed. So you really need to be turning these things off at least an hour before bed. And it's hard.
Yeah, it's difficult. I've discussed this with some of my clients before. And we just start with 15-minute increments. So if you usually go to bed at 11 and you're on your phone until then, turn an alarm on or turn all your devices, get them to turn off at 11. Because you can do that now with iPhones. I don't know about other phones, but I know with iPhones, you can just make sure everything closes down by a certain time. So if you go to bed at 11 o'clock, make sure everything is switched off by 10:45 and do that for 2 weeks. 2 weeks. And then bring it back an extra 15 minutes. So 10:30, everything shuts off. Do that for 2 weeks. So do it incrementally, because if you're going to make a big change, a lot needs to happen for it to be a big change. But we
Right.
can't always handle big changes. So you're most likely to follow through and actually get results if you make these big changes in little tiny steps. So definitely bringing that cutoff time 15 minutes back each day,
Mm-hmm.
each couple of weeks, is so important. Beautiful. So, I mean, you've kind of covered it there, but what would be your top tips for improving sleep quality?
So for improving sleep quality, like you said, small changes I think make a big difference. And there are a lot of things that you can do that don't cost any money. So the recommended temperature is 7 degrees Fahrenheit. I'm sorry, I don't know what that is in Celsius, if you want to do the conversion.
I have a feeling it's about 40, but carry on.
I think it's about 45 or so, but that is considered about the ideal temperature. You want
totally off. It was 21.
21, really?
Yeah,
Wow.
21 degrees Celsius.
Okay. Thank you for converting that.
I was going to say that sounds very hot. 40 degrees sounds extremely hot if it was 40.
I know, and I struggle, like as a pharmacist, we use Celsius a lot, like in the hospital, we use it like at work, but then I come home and it's like everything is Fahrenheit. So I live between the English and the metric system all the time. So
Yeah, so
usually I have a
don't
calculator.
set your thermometer, guys, to like your thermostat to 40 degrees. It's 21 degrees.
Yes, Celsius. So you want to turn down the temperature a little bit. So ideally, for your body to go into that restful state, you want your body temperature to drop a little bit, not excessively. To light, if you can control the light sources in your environment, we call them knockout shades or blackout curtains, for your rooms. Again, turning off the electronics an hour before bed. The other thing you can do is you can turn down the lights in your home, even though you're not ready for bed. You want to try and mimic what's going on outside with the sun. As the sunlight comes down, it's harder during the summertime. Here we have longer time of daylight, but you want to start turning down the lights in your environment. Noise, if you're having trouble with noise, for me, one of my triggers is when I cannot sleep, all the sound is a bother to me. So there are a lot of apps that you can get that will play, or podcasts that you can get, or a noise machine that'll play something soft. Some people like a fan. Personally, I like rain. I like to listen to rain or the thunderstorms to help calm my brain down. And on Amazon, they sell this lovely thing. It is a night cover. It covers your eyes, and it's flat. It has flat speakers on the sides, so you can sleep
No, I've not
on
seen
the
that before.
speaker on each side. And it's very soft and cozy, and you can Bluetooth link it to your phone. So
That's
you can,
interesting. That's clever.
yeah, because you can't wear headphones and like sleep, then everybody will be complaining about their neck. But
True.
but yeah,
And
I
these
don't
will
even
just
think
fall out.
yeah, and those fall out. So basically it covers your eyes, and it's like I said, it's for sleep or for whatever. I think people use it for travel too. If you're on a long plane ride, then you can have it for that. It was less than $20, and it's just very simple and works lovely. Things
Nice.
like that are nice. To watching your caffeine intake, you gotta probably stop taking in caffeine by 2 o'clock or so in the afternoon, so that your
Yeah,
body
my
will be
cutoff
ready.
is always 2.
Yeah, so you'll be ready for the evening. And those are the kinds of things that I think are really easy and quick to get
Brilliant.
started.
Fantastic. Well, thank you so much for that. So then I have a question here about nutrition for sleep. So how does what we eat influence the sleep? Now, I know we kind of mentioned earlier about fat, sugar, and salt, the dreaded three. But I mean, how can we improve our sleep quality through nutrition? Is this something that we can do? Is it something that you would recommend?
I think as your diet improves, you know, a lot of things improve. And so the other thing too, I would say is exercise. Exercise, getting some type of daily exercise will help improve your sleep quality dramatically, even if it's just a 10, 15-minute walk. So benefits from exercise can be achieved with as little as 10 minutes of activity. So from a nutritional standpoint, a lot of people suffer from, you know, restless legs or muscle cramps in the evenings. And those are symptoms of not enough minerals and electrolytes. And if you're taking those in, you know, a lot of plants have them, like spinach, things that are high in magnesium. And you probably have a list. I have a list that I said to people, you know, taking those in by plants can relieve those symptoms so that your body can be, you know, your muscles can relax. If you don't have enough of those nutrition, then your body's going to be restless. The muscles aren't going to relax.
Yeah. And as we said, you know, this is a very fast-paced lifestyle that we're living in. It's the fastest that we ever have. We've got so much information to process on a minutely basis. You know, we've got to be everywhere. We've got to speak with everyone. We've got to have long working hours. We've got to be okay to be working 10 hours a day. And, you know, there's so much going on. So if you can influence and help your sleep pattern so you can digest and assimilate all of that information and process all of that at night, if we can include sleep promoting things in our foods and what we eat, then brilliant. Absolutely. So foods high in melatonin, foods high in calcium.
Yes.
Yeah. What other foods are there that I can't think of right now? Minerals, sorry.
Manganese.
Yes, that's the one.
Manganese, yes.
Different to magnesium.
Yes, and often forgotten. It's an often forgotten mineral that our bodies definitely need for normal metabolism. And if you're talking about weight loss, these things are important too. Yeah,
Absolutely.
and then the other thing I think about from a nutritional standpoint, alcohol. So alcohol, when we first intake alcohol, it's a depressant to the nervous system, and I think we all know that. That's, you know, a lot of times why we drink to kind of turn things down. But after those effects, it can actually be a stimulant to the nervous system. So when you continue, so drinking in excess can actually make insomnia worse.
Absolutely. And, you know, it's not fun being the person that tells you to stop drinking. However, if these are your problems, definitely have a look at the alcohol that you're consuming, because that's going to make a big impact, especially when people say, I'm just going to have a nightcap, or, you know, when people are just like, oh, I'm going to have a couple of drinks and it will knock me out. Well, actually, it just sedates you. It never lets you go into the processing, the deep sleep that you need for the restoration to happen. It just kind of knocks you out, but it doesn't allow your brain to go into that level of sleep. So you're just postponing your sleep. You're not feeling refreshed. You're still feeling groggy when you wake up until the next day. And I guarantee you the next day you're either having alcohol or not enough sleep.
And, you know, it's the same. Yeah. Yep. Same cycle again. Absolutely. Yes. It will disrupt your sleep.
Massively so. Okay. And then finally, I wanted to ask about supplements. So with my audience, I like to say that we don't necessarily need supplements, and we can get everything that we need from a whole foods plant-based diet, as long as it's diverse, we can get everything that we
Yes.
need to thrive. As long as, like I said, as long as it's diverse and you don't have a chronic clinical illness where you cannot get or assimilate something, unless you have an exemption. Can't speak today. Unless you're exempt from this, which is very, very rare, that you can get all of this. However, supplements, again, we're living in this fast-paced world, so why not optimize some things? For example, I go to the gym, I work out a lot. I like to have a protein shake when I finish the gym because I like to repair my muscles, because I prefer a more muscular physique, and I know that that's going to help me there. But how are supplements going to help our sleep rather than hinder them? And again, make sure that they're not just knocking us out.
So from a sleep specific supplement standpoint, again, you talked about like the magnesium and the calcium. Those things can be helpful. And the other thing I like calcium for is protecting our bones. Calcium is something that can be hard to get enough into your diet, even with plants. But there are certain plants that have more than others, and sometimes it's getting that variety that you talk about is the challenge. So I think of it more like beets. Beets are a tremendously beneficial food, but personally, I won't eat them. So it's supplements, I think, are more for like filling in the gap, or supporting, from a functional medicine standpoint. We use them to support the organ function that would normally occur, and give the body time to heal and return back to normal. So melatonin is the one that people think of most. But when you look at research, melatonin is really best for people who are like shift workers or for jet lag. And that is, unfortunately, it's not as good for like chronic insomnia, but you can try it. Somewhere between 3 and 9 milligrams. 9 milligrams or 10 milligrams is the maximum dose recommended. After that, you're not getting any benefits. And you want to take it about an hour before sleep. The other thing that I think is sometimes more helpful than melatonin is herbal teas like chamomile. Chamomile is a great supplement. It's nice to have that warm cup of tea in the evening, and chamomile, besides helping you sleep, has a lot of other restorative properties. So I have a tea, I think it's Bigelow that makes the tea. It's called Sleepy Time Tea. And I'm sure there are a variety on the market. Those are helpful. The other one that I think is more popular in your neighborhood is valerian.
I don't think I've heard of that.
No? Okay. I think the use is a lot higher over in England and Europe than it is here in America. A lot of people will use valerian for sleep, and it can help with sleep. The caution I have with valerian, you really need to talk to your pharmacist or doctor before you start that, because it can interact with a lot of drugs. So that is not one I recommend if I don't have all the information, about a person. But the other products that are over the counter, like Dramamine and things like that, or like over the counter drugs and things, are fine from a temporary standpoint. If you're really struggling and you need to get some rest, but again, they tend to disrupt the natural cycle of sleep, and they don't really fix the problem. The thing that is, people don't realize, not getting good sleep is generally a symptom of another problem that needs to be addressed. So if it's your anxiety and anxiety and worry that's keeping you up, then, the best remedy may be some guided meditation, some breathing exercises. Personally, I love yoga for helping with my anxiety and chronic pain. That kind of mindfulness and meditation, I think, can be wonders for sleep. But
I think that's a very brilliant point that you raised, is that, tiredness and fatigue is generally a symptom. Well, it is a symptom of something that needs to be changed.
Right.
Whether that's ongoing or whether it's just a one-off, it is a symptom. So yeah, exactly that. If you're needing more sleep, you need to look at your life and figure out what in my environment, what in my day-to-day, what needs to change in order for me to get some better sleep.
Right. And then the last, I guess, I don't know, public service announcement or whatever is if you are a person who snores or your partner is telling you snore or you wake up choking or gasping, as you know, people who are obese or have diabetes are at higher risk for sleep disorders and things like obstructive sleep apnea, and that is a medical condition.
Mm-hmm.
And it's important that you speak with your doctor so that they can help you with that, because not treating that again puts you at risk for stroke and heart attacks and everything else. So,
Mm-hmm.
um, you know, I think people don't like to be told that they snore, but you know, it's good to have it checked out and it's peace of mind. If it's checked out and it's nothing, then you know it's nothing and you can look at other things. But it's something that your doctor's probably not going to remember to ask you about, but you should bring up during your visits.
Yeah, no, absolutely. Absolutely. Wow, there's so much information there. I appreciate this. Thank you. We've been on the call for 50 minutes. So it's gone so fast, so fast. Well, I'd like to wrap up there. There's a lot of information. If you guys are watching, if anyone's watching, please feel free. As soon as this live finishes, it will be posted up in the group for you to replay and watch anytime you want. I highly recommend rewatching, going through, making notes, and figuring out exactly where you can make changes in your life, what needs to shift, what needs to change. And that being said, I do believe that you have a freebie to help with sleep. Is that right?
Yeah, so I have it's posted on my website. It's called the Counting Sheep Workbook because I love the sheep. They're adorable. And it has really quick and easy things to do, like we talked about creating your perfect sleep environment. The other thing is creating your bedtime ritual, and that is one of the biggest things you can do to help improve your sleep is having that nighttime ritual that prepares your body for sleep. So it's got some good basic, it's a fast, quick study and easy things that you can do like right away to start feeling better.
Brilliant. It sounds absolutely fantastic. I do need to check that out myself as well, which would be awesome. I will link that freebie once this video has been posted. I'll go back into the video and I'll put it up top. So if you're watching this on replay, it'll be just here. All of the links to Amy's business. I do believe I have your YouTube, your website, your freebie, and Facebook as well. So I will link those all above. But thank you so much for joining me. Thank you for telling us exactly why we need to clean up our sleep hygiene so we can get out of our own way and start living our lives. Thank you.
Thank you so much. It's been a pleasure, Bianca, and
You
I'm
are
looking
welcome.
forward, I'm looking forward to having you on my channel in a couple weeks.
Yeah,
Yeah,
absolutely.
it's
I'll
going to be
post that
great.
in here as well, so everyone can come along and join in your group too. Sorry, my words haven't been coming out today. I say that all the time though, so you know it's just me. I think just when I'm excited and full of energy, it just comes out.
Yeah,
But
you're lovely.
but yeah, thank you so much for joining me. Thanks, guys. Thank you. If you're watching, just pop any comments, any questions, please put them in the comments below this and tag Amy. Amy is in the group. So if you get tagged, is
Mhm.
that okay? If they have any
Yeah,
questions for you, Amy? Fantastic. Probably
absolutely.
should have asked you first. Awesome. Thank you so much. Thanks for joining me. Have a wonderful day, guys. And I'll speak to you soon, Amy.
Thank you.
Take
Have a good
care.
day.
Bye.
Bye.